Welcome to the Free Game Don D podcast. Life, family, and business. Yeah. Listen, man, today I have the honor of having my friend Tyree Mccall in the studio. Tyree Mccall is a 10-year union welder, and he's also the owner of Tyree Mccall Creatives, LLC. And we're going to be talking about what's next. Tyree's been through a lot of things, a lot of ups and downs in his life, and he's going to be talking about what's next, and we're talking about his business and some other things. Tyree, tell us about yourself, buddy.
Yes, sir, man. First, I'd like to start by saying thank you for having me. This is a huge opportunity for me. I'm very grateful to be on your platform, Dr. Donald.
Man, stop
I'd like
it, man.
to call you, man.
Cut it out, man.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. But yeah, I just I'm a person, like I said, I'm a welder, business owner, entrepreneur, and I just someone that's thriving. It's an evolution of growth. So I think that is who I am as a whole. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And here's the thing about you, man. Like you're 31, man, but you're so mature. We've had little discussions, on social media or whatever, and the way you carry yourself is much wiser than your age. And I'm very careful to tell people, don't get caught up in this notion that wisdom is reserved for people of certain ages is absurd, because I know some old fools. But
Right.
You are a very, very, very intelligent young man. So 31 years of age, man, and you've had an extensive, life, done a lot of different things, man. I know I had put a post up one time talking about people be afraid to reinvent themselves, but I've lived like 4 or 5 lives, and you've lived a few lives yourself, man. So let's talk about like where you come from, your background, and some of the things you've done in your early life.
Okay, so I'll start by like I said, I grew up in a small town, hometown, Baxley, Georgia. So like a small town, everybody know everybody, and I think just coming from that, I've always been a people person. I would say someone that can relate to people. It's natural. I have a natural ability to be able to communicate with the young and the old, being raised in a smaller, hometown like that. So just that is my background, essentially growing up and then moving away after high school to Augusta.
Yeah.
And so that is pretty much how I got started, how everything started.
Yeah. So I know you talked about some of your influences, and because you do give off old soul energy, right?
I get that all the time.
you give off old soul energy. And so you talked about how, your grandparents were such a huge influence in your life, the way they moved, the way they carried themselves, a lot of their successes and things they've done, and how that really just had a huge impact on you as a young person. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, so my grandparents on my mom's side, they were so we live next door to them. So they, by their culture, their life lessons, like you said, they just pretty much instilled in us respect, how to show up, looking the part. I think that what plays who I am today with image. My granddad was just to go to the grocery store, his starch creased down. So that played a huge role. And then my grandma, she was very determined. She worked and pushed us to be successful. So she played a huge role on my mom's side. Like I said, we stayed next door to them, so she would help me save money and be, just have something in life. So they really played a huge role, and she was the one that took me and was like, after I graduated high school, she took me and brought me to Augusta and told me that you need to find something to do outside of being in Baxley or being at home. So it was 2013. She brought me to Augusta, and I started. I became a laborer at Plant Vogel, and I started my career in nuclear construction at age 19 as
Wow.
a laborer. And that is how that was the beginning of how I began.
Listen, man, I'm always amazed when I talk to young men and they go into, because I grew up in a household with a mother and a father, and my dad was the biggest influence in my life. But my mom was still a heavy influence, you know what I'm saying? Just that, my dad was probably the biggest influence, but my mama was a phenomenal influence as well. And sometimes I've said, you can't be a man if you don't see one, and I've realized how wrong that was because but then again, no, sometimes some of these men, maybe the man wasn't the dad, but it was other men. And so you talk about your grandparents, so I'm assuming that like grandfather had some influence as well, or just grandmother.
So on my mom's side, it was more of my grandma. Me and my grandma, like I said, she we call her Mima. She was my baby, man. She passed away, and ever since, I still carry her legacy. But my mom, too, had a heavy influence. She had more of an influence today than she did when we were growing up, I would say. For me personally, just with where I am today and where she has grown. But my grandparents, they did. And then on my dad's side, my grandparents, they all very successful retired school teacher or retired as education. And my granddad retired out of the Army. And then their children are very successful. My auntie, school principal, and entrepreneurs, my other aunties, and so just being around success, I had no choice. I didn't want to be the ugly duckling or whatever if you will. So I had to succeed, and they really. Just their lifestyles, the way they carry themselves, and the material value, the way they polish, and just everything. It really cultivated me into who I am today.
And let me say something real quick because you talked about mom, and that kind of struck me because a lot of times, kids forget that you're watching your parents, go through a journey too. Like they're, yeah, they got kids, but some of them that's their first time being a parent, right? Yes. So they're trying to figure it out too. So you talk about how mom is super influential on you today, maybe more so when you were younger. And I'm sure she was going through her journey as well. So shout out to mom. I mean, because that's how it was even in my household. Like my dad, you know what I'm saying? The older I got, he became more influential. So can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes, man. My mom, growing up, she was figuring it out. She had 2 kids, me and my brother, back to back. Single mom for a while. Then she got married, and then my stepdad raised us, and he provided for us. It wasn't like hug you, baby bear, and all this lovey dovey thing, but it was I provide for y'all, and I'm always grateful for them growing. And then he passed, and then ever since she's had to grow in her individual personality, she has we align in so many ways because of our journeys at the same time. And so who she was then is not who she is today. And then now her being in ministry and things, it really, really pushes me even further. So shout out, man. Mom probably helped save my life. I cannot lie.
Man, shout out to mama, man.
Shout out to Mom Deuce, man. Mom, I love you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you. You'll see. It's going to pay off.
Yeah, now shout out to mom, man. Like I said, sometimes as kids, man, we look at our parents and we don't give them grace because like they're our parents and they're our mom and our dad. But when you become a parent, one day you're going to need some grace from your kids.
Man, I try to have grace on my mom and dad. Me and my dad relationship is not the best, but I forgive him, and it's challenging, but I have grace on him. He don't know it, but I love him because he taught me who I needed to be vicariously through what he didn't do and what he hasn't been, but I love him, and he needs to know that. So I hope when he sees this, he knows that I love him, and I'm here for you, man. My dad is, he wouldn't be at the best situation, I will believe, today from where I knew him, but he's my father. I will not allow no disrespect or anyone to come and talk about him in any negative way. So that's just the grace that I have had and had to endure or grow into.
Yeah. People don't realize that. You I mean, that journey of giving grace, because we all want grace.
Yeah.
But giving grace, especially when it's your parents, shout out to you, man. I think that's big, man.
Yeah, it's huge.
Giving love to dad, man.
Yeah, I love dad, man.
And listen, you talk about stepdad too. Like, he wasn't like, I don't want to use the word loving because I think that, there was a point in time where men felt like loving meant pay the bills.
His love language was different.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, his love language was, and here's the weird thing. Sometimes even women expect you, that's it, pay the bills. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, so sometimes we get trapped into these situations because we think that that's what we're expected to do. So even stepdad, like I love the way you talked about him in such a glowing fashion. Like, he provided, he took care of stuff. financially.
Yeah.
And maybe he didn't, I mean, the kind of fathers that we are, like, I think that we've had to mature and realize that fatherhood is way more than just paying bills. You know what I'm saying? Being a husband is way more than just paying bills.
I agree. And to your point, over time, the image of fatherhood has changed because when they were growing up, it was, like you said, provide, but also they didn't have time because their parents didn't, love and hug on them. So I had to receive him where he was,
Ooh,
and where he at, where
that's
he
tough.
was and where he is with the tools that he had. So at the time going through it, it was challenging. I didn't understand it, but now he helped, make me to who I am today. So I'm very grateful for everyone around me and that have been around me to help me.
That's dope. And shout out to mom being in ministry too, because I'm sure that, I know we talked about how,
man, that lady done knocked me out so many times in the spirit just because of the call, the mantle, the carry on my life that she sees, that y'all see. Man, I done ducked and dodged that lady so many times, and then I come on back to the house and be like, well, maybe you're not so bad after all. Like a little puppy.
Listen, Tyree. Sometimes you have to believe in what other people see in you until you can see it.
Absolutely.
And sometimes mama and daddy and some of your friends and even me, I didn't really know you, but I said, man, I like this guy. I like the way he carries himself. Right. Sometimes we don't see it, but someone else sees it. And I've had people see things in me that I didn't see in myself. And then it got to the point, when I see it, it's over. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's funny. Yeah, that's true. It's true.
Yeah. So let's talk about, like, I want to paint this picture here because you've been very successful, and we've been conditioned in this country, I believe, this, that, if you don't go to college, you can't be successful. And your path was a little bit different. So can you talk about your path as it pertains to life after high school?
Yeah. So I honestly didn't know it was a thing to be different when you talk about going to trade school. So my background is I went to trade school and I became a welder. And the reason I did because I was a laborer, which means that I was kind of at the bottom, just cleaning up and helping others. And I had children early.
But hold on. I want to make sure you paint the right picture here. Even as a laborer, you were telling me how you was making $60,000 a year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was working 6 days a week, 7 days a week, making about 60 salary back then. Yeah, but there were engineers and different people while we were working that would see me and be like, point me out. And I thought now that that's strange that out of everybody in this site, you would point me out. And they was like, man, you don't want to be a laborer your whole life. Like there's something more that you need to do. And they begin to pour into me like, man, Augusta Tech right up the road. All you got to do is go sign up. And I was just taking it with a grain of salt, and then daily, people did not give up on me and like, you need to do this. So I eventually went to sign up for welding school. So in daytime, I'm working 10 hours, and then at night, I'm going to welding school. And you talk about a journey for 2 years straight.
Listen, in daytime, I'm working 10 hours a day, and at night, I'm going to school.
Yeah.
Come on,
my days start at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m., probably wouldn't end till like 10 at night, 11. Get up, do it again.
But can you imagine like how many young people, if they're making $60,000 a year as a laborer, they're not gonna go the extra mile and go to school to be a welder. Like you became a union welder, but like they're not gonna make that transition because what they're gonna do is they're gonna build a life on that $60,000. And that won't even allow them the ability to go to school now because now they have to continue to just focus on working. But, people saw something in you. And that's why it's important to identify things in people, right? Because you just don't never know. Like they may not see what you see, and you seeing it, someone seeing something and you allowed you to see it.
Absolutely.
It allowed you to be like, man, maybe there is. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with making $60,000 a year as a laborer. Mm-hmm. So like you technically didn't have to do anything. You could have just kept doing what you was doing, so because I know there's a great income disparity between being a laborer and a union welder.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I think to your point, like you said, they become comfortable in that lifestyle. But at the time, no one was making that kind of money because it was a brand new site that was being introduced to the CSRA with Plant Vogel. So That was a big thing at the time, but I always knew there was more. And then I had kids early, like I said, so that was motivated for me. That was what motivated me to go back to school or go to school in general.
You talk about how you became a father at 19.
Oh, man, all my friends was partying or going to college or doing what they do. I was working at 19. I didn't get to go and do some of the things they did.
Yeah. So you had your first kid at 19, second kid at 21,
correct?
right?
Yes.
Then you got married. Because listen, I'm gonna make sure we paint this picture right now. You married the woman that you had the kids with.
That is correct. Yes, sir.
Right? And what was that journey like?
This is someone that I was dating young. We were 16, 17, 18. Kids having kids, pretty much. That's what it was. We were just infatuated with each other. I mean, it was everything. And, we just grew up together for so long. And then, growing apart was our journey. And, but it is a part of my story, and I think that's what fuels who I am today. And, that is the journey.
But here's the thing, man. You have a kid at 19, high school sweetheart. I once heard a guy do a podcast, and he was talking about how he encourages people to get married young because he's in the insurance business, and he was just talking about how he got married young, and he encourages other folks to get married young. I thought, no disrespect to him, I mean, I thought it was terrible advice, because you don't even know who you are, right? So I would encourage anyone to get married young.
Well, in around the country or most of the country, like when you see a lot of your aunties and uncles or people married for either just because that was the right thing to do, or how it was given to me. She was good enough to lay with her, so she's good enough for you to marry. And then, and I grew up in church, so they had a huge influence on you need to be married. Like you had a kid, you need to be married. And I'm just like, okay, well, out of guilt and shame and whatever, I'm gonna just get married. The whole time I wasn't really ready. I know I wasn't prepared. A lot of that too, I did sacrifice a lot of my happiness for the children because that was my responsibility. So I just want to say to that point that even if you have kids before marriage or, as a young man or female, you don't have to get married. You know what I'm saying? That's not yes, it might be the, right thing to do, quote unquote, however, but give yourself grace. This is your first time being a parent, and these kind of things. And you talk about marriage and blending households and families. That is a lot at 20 and 21 and 22 years old.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And you're right. I mean, I remember thinking, I got married young too. I felt like it was just the right thing to do.
Right.
It really wasn't, it wasn't the right thing to do, but I felt like, just, being in, from a religious standpoint.
That's what they teach us though. I mean, as men, and there's nothing wrong. If you can make it work, by all means, make it work. But for me, it just was.
I just feel like at that young of age, it's hard for you to even know who Tyree Mccall is.
You
didn't even know who you were.
Man, I had no clue.
So now I'm married to this person that doesn't know who they are.
Correct.
And see, and the thing about it, at that young of age, you don't even realize that you two don't know who. You don't know who each other are, and you don't know who you are individually. So this is just hard for this to work.
Yeah, we coming from the country, man. We hadn't been, but we hadn't even been to the mailbox good. So you talk about going out into the country or going out into different cities and traveling and seeing different experiences. Now we're curious, and that's like I said, I understand it completely. We were curious and young, and we wanted to explore. And there was, that's just how it happened.
And how long did that marriage last?
About what? We was together for a total of like 12 years. So I just kind of didn't count the years, I would say.
Yeah.
But I felt always married, if you will, because I've been a provider, So.
Yeah, so y'all were basically, of course, because you said high school sweetheart, and then you got married. And unfortunately, I mean, I know that didn't last. But I know we talked earlier too about like years, because we were talking about, because me and my wife just recently had a surprise anniversary party that our kids threw us, and I probably maybe stepped on some toes there, because maybe some people there count years, and that's just not something that we do. Mainly for me, because technically I've been married for about almost 30 years. Like if I'd have stayed with my first wife, we got married in 1995. If I would have stayed with her, I'd be celebrating year 30. And all the stuff that went on during this time, like this is nothing to be celebrated, right? But because we're celebrating time and not celebrating a good marriage or a healthy life, then it's like we lose focus here. We start celebrating time. Look at me, I got more time in than somebody else.
Absolutely.
But you got a terrible marriage.
Exactly.
You got a terrible relationship.
Exactly.
Right? And so that matters.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that impact matters. Time doesn't matter.
And I to your point, I got tired of sacrificing my happiness, man. A lot of marriages, they go on going with that, and I didn't want to break this subject to a whole discussion about this, but and I'll leave you with this. Don't sacrifice your happiness, man.
Facts.
If you're not healed in yourself before you go into, you're not going to develop. This person is not going to make you just some miraculous person that you want to be. You need to be prepared before you go in, or don't go at all. And so regardless of what anyone says to you about you should get married, this and that, and like, granted, now, yeah, I was young, but now today I wouldn't change anything about it at all. I appreciate it. It made me, and I'm grateful for it.
The weird thing about it, even though it didn't work out, I'm glad I went through it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because it made me so much better.
So much
right?
better, man.
So even though I wouldn't recommend anyone to get married young, me getting married young prepared me to be who I am today.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? It made me the person that I am today.
Yes.
Those experiences, those failures, people don't understand how important failures are. So they may look at me and my wife and like, you got a great marriage, but bro, I failed.
Mm-hmm.
I failed.
And that's the reason why I highlight my background in that space, because everyone, like you say, they look at us like a showcase or a trophy case, but you need to understand this has been an evolution of growth. This has been a journey. This is not just a fly-by-night success story or get rich quick scheme. Like I literally had to go through some things to get here. So that I'm vulnerable and transparent in my message so that you understand that even if you go through, you can still come out, and that's not the end. So that's why I bring that subject up. So.
No, but I'm glad you did, because I think people do,
That's a whole nother podcast.
It is.
I'm telling you.
It truly is, man. Now, listen, let's talk a little bit about, your creative side, man, because I've seen some of your work, which is phenomenal work. So, and I know you're big on quality over quantity. And you built a very successful business. And you're about to be on the news too, right? The local news?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they reached out, wanted to highlight some entrepreneurs and local business owners and things of that sort. Yeah, that is.
Yeah, because I've seen some of your billboards. I know you say you do personal branding, strategy, rebranding, creative direction. You do a lot of cool stuff even with that. And what I do like about it is, and I always say this on podcasts or even in some of my posts, don't do your job, use your job. And I think you've done a phenomenal, job of that. But you went to school for welding, and you're in that space making six figures. I mean, most guys would just build most girls, whatever, would build a life around that. But you had a higher purpose. When I say higher purpose, I'm not saying that being a welder is not, great. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you felt like, man, there's more that I want to do. And so you really put some of your welding money into your business, Tyree Mccall Creatives LLC, and now that's thriving as well. And I really love that, because a lot of times people will get a job and they'll say, well, I need some security. But the only security that you truly have in life is a security that you actually control.
Yes.
If you don't control it, you don't really have security. Absolutely. I don't care how many degrees you have. Absolutely. I don't care what society tells you, doctor such and such. I don't care. Mm-hmm. If you don't own the practice, if you don't own the firm, if you're not in charge, if it's not your business, you have no security. 100%. And I do like the fact how you took that money and made security for yourself. Absolutely.
So to break that down, so everyone gets a perspective of that. I was working at Plant Vogel for welding at the time when they were building the reactors 3 and 4, and I took that money and pretty much scaled it into my business because the pandemic came and took us away pretty much. I walked away when they asked, did we want to take the layoff? So being I had money saved up and things like that.
So hold up a second. When you say the pandemic took us away, I want to make sure I paint that picture.
So what happened was they asked anybody who wanted a voluntary layoff because we were, it was COVID, and it was just either you take the shot or you don't, or who wants a voluntary layoff? Because people was going home at this time just because of COVID, and we were getting the stimulus check. We was, that kind of stuff. So
So was it because they didn't want to get the shot? Is that what?
yeah, that, and they was reducing volume of just manpower at the time. So
Okay.
they asked us if we wanted a voluntary layoff, and I took it. And sometimes I beat myself up because I think I should have stayed. And that, I know you asked that question earlier. Why didn't I stay? I was burnt out, man. I was exhausted. We was working 6-7 days a week.
So we talked about that. Now that's another whole thing we can get into. Because you talked about how, okay, basically during COVID, they were allowing folks to, I guess, take packages or whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you took a package, and that led to problems in your marriage too.
Yeah, because the vision that I had, I was doing graphics alongside welding at the time, but I was only doing them on my phone. But it started getting so big that I had to invest in equipment because I would have stayed doing it on my phone. But I have graphics to this day that from my phone that look like they came from a computer. But that's how good it was beginning to grow. And by not having the freedom that we talk about when you talk about starting your own business, about having to work, like at this time playing vocal, you could only have 5 or 10 days a year to take off. So I was working every day, for months at a time, and I was drained. I was exhausted. The money didn't make me happy at that time.
And when you talk about freedom, you're talking about you didn't have the freedom to pour into the creative side as it
Correct.
pertains to your business because you always working.
Got that and my family. She was communicating to me, and I was working, and the kids, they needed me. I couldn't do anything but go to work and then get off of work and be tired. So that was why I walked away from that at that time. But I always knew it was something greater.
So when you say that, I knew there was something greater. So 'cause we're painting a picture here. So you're a welder. COVID's going on. Work's a little bit slower. You're dealing with mask issues. You're dealing with essential workers, all this other stuff that was going on. We all remember COVID vividly. It was a crazy time. But either way, so now you're thinking like, man, I need to spend more time with my family. I need to put more into my business. I'm just going to I'm gonna take one of these packages and then just go home with my wife. And apparently, you guys kind of went your separate ways. I mean, that ended up being a disaster. But then I guess I know you said you kind of regret that, or do you regret it?
There's levels to it. I would say that like I said, I appreciate it today more than ever. I know that before having this conversation about that subject, it would be bitter. Today, I'm not bitter. I'm healed. I've been to therapy. I've been to counseling, and I've, talked to God about that. I only was using the tools that I had at that time. When you talk about being a father and a husband and a man, so I was only using the tools that I had, and I cannot beat myself up about that. So, do I regret it? No, but had I known what I know today, I would probably still be thriving as a family man. But that is my ultimate desire for sure.
Yeah, I like that, man. Because you said that even in reference to your shout out to mama and even stepdad, and now yourself. So there's a common theme here: using the tools that I had. Boy, if you listening to this, give yourself grace because when you were making certain mistakes in life or making certain decisions, you were using the tools that you had. I love that, man, because I've had to give myself grace for certain things, right? I've definitely given other people grace, but they were all using the tools that they had.
Yeah, man, you got to think. My mom and my real dad wasn't married, so he would always tell me, no disrespect to him, but he would always tell me, don't get married. And I'm just like, well, because you didn't do it, I'm going to do it. That's one reason I'm going to do it. And then just two, I just, like you said, how we were raised and we thought that was the right thing to do. But like to the whole point of that, I will say with the reason why I took the layoff and the package is because, like I said, just exhausted from working so much and not being able to pour into my family and things. But in that, I had a vision. God gave me a vision, and it didn't look like welding. And with it not look like welding, it didn't look like income as far as the money that I was making. So the lifestyle would have to change. And I think that is where we kind of grew apart because she would always, you need to go back to welding, you need to go back to welding. And I'm like, well, no, I like graphic design. This is what I like. I like the freedom it brings me. I love being creative. And yes, it's not making the same money. However, it's impacting people. I'm changing people's lives. This is transformation when people trust me to change and take their brand from one level to another. and I found purpose in that. I found passion in that, and no one could take me away from that. And so when they did leave, or when I left, yeah, it was painful. It was very painful. However, I knew purpose was calling.
Mm, mm, mm. Man, when I tell you over here preaching low key,
Oh, come on, man.
like, cause what
We
happens?
just warming up, man.
What happens, man? There's so much to unpack there, because what happens when you move on purpose and you're married and your wife can't see, or your husband can't see the bigger picture,
Ooh.
because it's not a paycheck
God.
attached to that,
My God.
or the paycheck ain't big enough, you know
And
what
it's
I'm saying?
not tangible. You can, and that's where faith come in. A lot of these, we walk by faith and not by sight. You know, a lot of things that we can't see is hard to believe. And that's when my relationship with God grew, because, okay, if anybody leaves me, as long as I got you, God, I'm good. If you stick by me, I'm good. We'll ride this thing out.
And that's the thing too, man. So now you got God and anybody else that believes in you, but now your wife don't see it.
Yeah.
She wants you to go back to the plant.
And yeah, and like I said, no disrespect to her, because
for sure.
I think that, you know,
but hold up, Tyree, because she was using the tools that she had at that time.
Exactly. She didn't have a father. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
for sure.
She didn't have a father. So like I said, I was her husband and father.
Hold up,
yeah.
Tyree. I can't let you just say that. You know, I'm gonna need you to really give some. Because if a woman hit it, what do you mean?
Yeah,
you know?
well, I was a man. I was a different kind of guy. I was a hard, just hard nosed, going to work every day. So, she grew up with no male presence, like in her home. I mean, she probably did a few here and there, but like the way I came was different. So by structure and trying to teach her to submit to leadership and authority, it kind of looked more like control. And then with social media adding to that, and so back then City Girls was present and all this kind of stuff. So, hey, I don't knock her, and I don't, what I'm saying, no disrespect to how she everyone is entitled to their own opinion on how they want to move. So to that point, like I said, that's the decision that she made, and it is what it is.
And I 100% agree, man. Because like I said, you said something that I'm gonna take with me in life. Just using the tools. Everyone, where you say people are entitled to move the way they want to move, but even that is contingent on the tools that they have.
Yeah.
Then when they get better tools, they move different. Because I mean, look at you moving different.
Yeah.
I'm moving different.
And I knew that from the beginning when I met her. I always wanted to bring people up to where I naturally was, and not that, it's just I wanted more. I think I fell in love with the potential. And a lot of times we do that. We fall in love to where we think we want to take people, but everybody just cannot go, unfortunately. And that's with family, mother, anybody. Nobody's safe in that subject when you talk about everybody can't go. So that's. I mean, it just.
Man, you over here cooking, man. We fall in love for where we want to take people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they can't go.
A lot of people fall victim to that subject matter, man, all too often, especially when you have image. We was fine. I mean, we look good together. I mean, that's one thing I cannot take away. And she's still pretty to this day. I mean, we look good together. And then, we had a son and daughter, so it was me and her and then the kid and the daughter. So it looked like a perfect family. Like I said, so yeah.
But then sometimes I think relationships kind of prolong themselves because we look good together.
Exactly. That was that was the reason why I was like, I'm not finna fake it to like this 30-year ongoing thing just for yeah. So
you definitely don't want to do that. but
Madea show, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like all kind of plays and TV be done shot the shooter. You know what I'm saying? Just, we in the house arguing one day and I get my 9 out. And then I ain't before I do all that, I'm just chunk the deuce and roll out.
No, I love that. Even you telling your story right now, we talked earlier and the conversation was just so mature.
Yeah.
And you said, if I would have told my story earlier, I would have been bitter.
Oh, yeah.
So people don't understand, even when it comes to talking about your story in life, timing matters.
Yeah.
Because if I'm telling you this story fresh out of it, you're not going to get anything out of it. I'm just going to be angry and bitter, and I'm not going to be able to have that influence right now. Like you can change someone else's life that have gone through something similar because, you talked about therapy.
Yes.
You've done the therapy. You've done the work internally.
Yes. The gym, the Bible, therapy. I think also too, like you said, I would have been bitter. But my people around me held me accountable, and I'm like, but this happened. No, at the end of the day, high levels of accountability is what got me. But also, what I want to say is that we have to. I seem like I lost my thought. I don't know.
No, you good. Now, so you talked about some of the things that you were doing to kind of like, get yourself together.
Inner healing.
Inner healing.
You got to go to therapy, and you have to have people around you. Well, you don't have to, but I chose to. But have great people around you, I think, is something that's important, man.
No, listen, let me tell you something. No, I think you do have to have it. I always tell people, man, what's in you isn't as important as what's around you. Because if it's not in you and it's around you, at some point it will get in you.
Yeah.
Get good people around you.
Yes.
Right? Yes. And what they have will get into you.
Yeah. You can't be afraid of it. Like, you got to handle it head on. A lot of people get intimidated by people that's more successful than I want to be around this. Yeah, it might hurt. Yeah, this person might have a Bentley or whatever, but I'm coming. Like, I'm on my way, but I want to be around people that are more. I don't want to be around people that's on the same level as me. Yeah, I want to be around people that's more intelligent, more smart, more, that's how you grow.
Come on, man. 100%.
It stings though. I'm telling you, I've gotten stung by a lot of my people that inspire me. A lot of my what you call them? Not mentors, things like that, pastor friends, successful entrepreneurs and things. They've hit me pretty hard.
Yeah, but I think that's good, man, because I think that they're going to shoot it to you straight.
Yeah.
You get into business and you become successful or whatever your career field or whatever, and you start sharing gems to other folks. Because I'm one of these guys, I don't believe in gatekeeping. Mm-hmm. And I know some people that are successful and they look like me and they gatekeep. You know what I'm saying? They won't talk to you about certain things, right? Yeah. But me and my wife have always been an open book, like just sharing information to other entrepreneurs, man, just kind of making sure that they, if we see them doing something kind of weird, we say, hey, you might want to look at this, look at that, right?
Yeah.
In a loving way, because we want to see people around us win, man. You need to be around people that when you're talking about your success, it doesn't sound like you're bragging.
Right. And people that will clap, or not only clap for you, don't clap for me when I'm doing good. Like, punch me in the back when you see, I'm doing something wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need people around me that's going to yes man me or clap for me, because I'm naturally God gives me the ability to be successful. Like, it carries me favor and everything carries. Like, I'm going to do that regardless. But the things that I don't talk about, the things that I struggle with that I don't speak on, and I need you to be able to know that without me even speaking. I need you to look at me and say, I know he's going through something right now. I need to pull him up. Those are the kind of people I need around me.
Ooh. Man, listen, man, bruh, you have to have people around you that can hear you when you're not talking.
That's ideal for me in relationship moving forward. Like, I want to be able to talk to my wife without her, like, without me even having to say anything. I want to look at her and be like, hey, look. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't know control, no dictatorship or anything, but we need to be like, there's some settings where we might go in where it'd be a large group of people or whatever, and you need to be able to know my eye contact. Facts. Like, and what I'm getting at is communication is key. It's critical.
Yes.
So yeah, that's
I agree with 100%, man. Me and my wife could go to spaces. She can look at me and tell when we need to be wrapping this up, and we're not gonna be in here too long.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just the energy is off. I ain't got to say the energy's off. You looking at me, I'm looking at you. We both know the energy's off. The same way we need to be at.
Man, I love y'all, man. I don't even really have known y'all for a long time, man, but I love y'all so much, man. Like, man, I don't think y'all. I've watched you for a couple weeks, or I don't even know how long, but yeah, I admire y'all, man. It's not many.
You're gonna make me start crying, man.
I'm telling you, I hope you cry. Like, let me get this water and pour on you so you look like you're crying at least. But you gotta feel me, man. You guys are amazing. Like, podcasts, business together. Social media is not talking about this today for young people. They not even trying to get married. You know what I'm saying? Or even raise a family. I can't imagine how hard it was for your current wife to take on responsibility of children that's not even hers. That's a whole, I'm not trying to preach today, but that's a subject in itself. These young girls not trying to do that at all. So yeah, I gotta give you your flowers, man.
Nah, listen, man, I received that, man. I had to make sure I say that because, my wife is. I have a hard time receiving, nice things, but I'm learning to say I receive it, man. And here's the thing: you said something earlier. You said you never know who's watching, and that's kind of how we conduct life. And I feel like you're always on display.
Yeah.
You think no one's watching, and they are.
It comes with a responsibility. I think character and I think character and the way you carry yourself, image, that can take you way farther than any title, any amount of dollar that you have, like any type of like who you are as a person, it will never shift. Like weird energy, you can feel it, but if it's there, it's there, and we just have that. That's why you my guy.
You're right. You're 100% right, man. Weird energy. You can feel it.
Yeah.
You don't even have to tell me, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, this ain't my kind of guy.
You might as well get used to me. Get prepared to be sick of me. How they say, because I'm gonna be around y'all for a very long time.
No, I receive that, man.
I can feel it.
Like
man.
I said, I love your energy as well. I love the way you carry yourself. It's funny, man, because I got into this point in life where I'm actually around a lot of guys that are much younger than me, and they're just like gravitating towards me, and I'm just trying to. Okay,
that guy, and I know it's hard to receive because, like you say, you head down, you focus, but now your turn is coming where people are really giving you your flowers, man, and you definitely receive that, man. That guy, bro. I'm talking about raising girls, raising kids.
Oh God,
moving into family. So much.
Listen, shout out to God too, man. Because
shout out to God. Shout out to Big G, man. That what them young folk call him, man.
Big G,
Big G, not the little one, the big one.
I like that.
Yeah, they call him Big G, man. So we gonna rock with God, man.
No, man. But shout out to Big G,
All
man, because he gave me and my wife a son, and our son is so much easier to raise than those girls. And I love my girls. I mean, they're amazing, but they were a lot. If we had another girl,
is that how your hair like? Is that
yeah? That's why I got this. My wife says she says it's some silver fox stuff, so I'm just trying to ride it out, man. I don't know.
I'm trying not to get there, man. My son, I don't have no problem. He amazing, but my daughter, my God, the Jesus, man.
So is she the oldest?
No, she's the youngest.
She's the youngest. Okay.
Yeah, my son. I had my son first, and he stole my heart. That was my boy, still is. But then when my daughter came here, that was it. I was like, yeah.
So you're juggling a lot here. So you have a successful business. You're also a welder, and you make great money doing that. And sometimes you have to travel. Yeah. And so what does that look like, with the kids? And
yeah, that situation is tough. I thank God for being able to thrive in two careers, because at any moment when I don't feel or I hear that it's intentional that I go on the road, I don't go. So when I go, I'm there with intent, right? Mm-hmm. But when I do go, or when I don't go, I'm also away at home creating, and that's intentional too. So. But yeah, traveling is hard, but it's cool because I get to show my kids the experiences and outside of where they currently are. Like this summer I had an opportunity to work at NASA down in Cape Canaveral. I was down welding on a project down there, and we actually got a chance to see some rockets take off at SpaceX for Elon Musk, and I was able to record some of that content and show them that, look, this is where your dad works at. NASA welding on the road. So, and then like I traveled, I went to North Dakota in 2022 from Augusta. I drove 24 hours and just going from.
Was there anybody else black in North Dakota?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a few. Not many. Not many, but not many. But yeah, I drove up there and going on that voyage, that fantastic voyage, through the different states and the mountains and the valleys, I was able to show them. So they're on the journey with me. Like while I'm traveling, I keep them with me. They see me when I'm moving. So it's not as hard as it could be, but it is tough. But yeah,
I love that because like I think kids, because here's the thing, man. You're repeating something that you saw too. Mm-hmm. Shout out to your grandparents. They showed you different stuff, high level stuff. And it affects you, and you're reciprocating that same energy with your children. You probably hadn't even thought about it like that. You're showing these kids like SpaceX and you're on these big time projects, you're traveling. Like kids have to see more in order to know that more is possible.
Yeah.
If you don't see it, you don't think it's possible.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, even me and my wife do that with our kids. Like in business, we talk about high level things that none of the other kids maybe that, may not be privy to that, but they're privy to it because of our success. We make sure that they understand what certain things look like and what is possible, which is anything. And that's what you're doing with your kids. Like, it's not just like videos and stuff and like it's bigger than that. Like I'm showing you like literally anything's possible.
Yeah, and like you say, to your point, I take them with me everywhere I go, and they see my welding career, like when I travel, but they also see my creative journey and the clients that I work with, and most of them in our hometown area. But they ask me all the time, Dad, are we famous or are you famous? You must be famous. I'm like, man, look, I don't want this some days. I just want to provide for y'all, and I'd rather be wealthy than famous. But yeah, word gets around to them all the time, man, that we know your dad.
That's actually pretty dope. So I know you talked about how y'all went by a billboard and the kids were like, well, Dad did that.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. From that to, like I said, so I had opportunity to work with Tyree Hill, and he's from Douglas, Georgia. It's a city not too far from where my hometown is, and the kids that were there were alongside my children's age. So when that subject is brought up, they can always say, my dad did the T-shirts and the billboards and the flyers for Tyree Hill. And so that is pretty cool.
And who else have you worked for?
I've had opportunity to work with Tyreek Hill. Let's see. As far as NFL clients, I've had the opportunity to work with Mike Evans, wide receiver from the Bucks. I had opportunity to work with Asante Samuels, cornerback. His Asante Samuel Jr. I've worked with McEachern High School. Shout out to McEachern High School, and I did their full year all out branding. I've worked with I've had so many clients, dog. I lost count. I think those are the biggest influential ones that I've worked with outside of personal, like people that's known in the communities. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw some of your work and I was just like, man, this is next level stuff, man. Shout out to you, man. I know we were also talking about like, because it's something that I've had struggles with, and I'm constantly making sure that I'm fighting off that, that syndrome, but imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Man, that's important. I think so for me, I have notes at my lab or at my station where I work at. Like I keep it in my face where they're when I feel a creative block or imposter syndrome, however you want to look at it, I instantly get up off that computer. There was a point in my career where I had to sit at the computer 24/7 and I gotta make this money. But now I'm at a space where I can, if I don't feel it, I'm just don't feel it. Like I get up, I'll go jogging, I'll go to the gym, I'll go get my favorite smoothie, or I'll listen to some music. I watch podcasts. I watch something on you. I give myself grace to relax. Rest is productive. People need to understand that. That's an assignment. Rest. So when you are most likely imposter syndrome or you're overwhelmed, you need to rest. You need to take a step back. And oftentimes I do go and seek clarity from God. Like He will reveal to me what to do in this season or in this situation. Like sometimes He allowed me to take my hands off the project and completely. And like I've refunded clients because it's too much. Like I don't need this on my life right now. It doesn't matter how much money or the opportunity, I'll turn it down. So that for me is how I deal with imposter syndrome. But definitely I take cold showers sometimes, showers. I read books. And I get on the phone. Talking is very therapeutic. That's why I'm able to flow like that. I love running my trap. Now, I can't write as often or good as I'd like. Like, I wish I could journal sometimes, but talking is very therapeutic for me. So that helps me with imposter syndrome a lot.
No, man, I received that. No, I'm not much of a writer myself, but, and I always say this, every time I'm talking on a call or anything, I'll say, real quick, and then my wife be like, this is not going to be quick.
Ah,
Because I think I mean for it to be quick,
ooh.
but I just get to flowing.
If that ain't me, I don't know who else is. My goodness.
Because listen, I think what people don't understand when they're around me, when I'm speaking from a feeling.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything like set. So when I start to speak, the creative juices within me start flowing, and what's in me comes out of me. And so I'm just giving you everything I got in this moment. And I'm not going to stop until I give you everything that I feel like God wants me to give you. And when I'm done, I'm done. But if I got something left to give you, I don't assume that I'm going to be able to talk to you again. So today you about to get everything that I got in me.
You know, where we got 3, 4, 5 pages of notes already. And we could keep going. But yeah, I'm like you the same way.
Yeah, no, I love that though, man. Yeah. Now let me we talked about like, well, actually, you alluded to the fact that when something does, and I don't know if people realize the power in that. There are people doing things that they don't want to do, and and just the freedom to know that if something don't feel right, Tyree Mccall gonna say, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna refund you your money back because this is not aligning with my spirit." People don't even understand about alignment.
Yeah.
This is not aligning with my spirit. And for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, yeah, I appreciate it. You know, you're a high paying client. That's all great. I appreciate that. Thank you for the business. But I'm going to have to refund you your money.
And to that, sometimes I would say, like, for me being a male man, when I was coming up in creative, I saw a lot of female women, and typically it would be what it was. Men are meant like working outside, and women are on computers, I guess you would say. And so I had to create my path into that space. And why I bring that up is because um, sometimes I get people that want to come and put their weight on me, like put themselves on me, like I need to work, or you need to work with me, or I'm a pretty young girl, or this or that, like you need it, like that kind of thing in that direction. Like, no, I don't have to work with you, respectfully. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really have to be intentional with who come, because of the integrity that it carries. My name is on my brand. If that crash out, that's my social security. That's everything. So like I have to have integrity with who I work with, and we do a vetting process with who comes in, so I can screen you and look at your Facebook or your Instagram and see what kind of individual you are. So that's what separates me from your typical like Canva I wouldn't say Canva, like where you could go buy graphics, get quick, and they're good, they work, but that's what separates me, because I'm intentional with who you are as a person. This is transformation. People come to me about graphics starting out, and then they begin to like it becomes a relationship where they're ministry, like it's like their whole life story. Because I say, why do you want graphics? Well, I want to start a business. Well, why do you want to start a business? Well, because the job I'm working isn't paying me enough. Well, why isn't it paying enough? Well, because I got a boyfriend that's not helping. And then it's just ongoing. And then before you know it, we in ministry. I'm over here like literally speaking to your life about and doing graphics at the same time. And I'm just like, God, this is bigger than this is big. This is transformation. This is purpose. This is real deal. Like, you got something.
I love your vetting process, because what it sounds like is that you want to get to know this person. Because I can't be a creative director for you without kind of knowing your background and why you want to do this, like exactly what you have going on, what do you want out of this? And to me, the best people in that space, that's what they want to do. I mean, me and my wife worked with, shout out to Kyle, man. He did some work for us, phenomenal work, phenomenal person actually, but he spent the first few sessions doing background on us. You know what I'm saying? Looking at, our social media, how we move, this and that. And so, and even when we started the process, it still was kind of like him trying to get a feel for a lot of things. And it sounds like you do something very similar, because if you want to deliver a product for me, you got to know what it is that I'm looking for, who I am, and who I'm trying to attract, my audience, and all of this kind of stuff, right? And so, I mean, I'm not in that space, but it is just from hiring someone to do some stuff for us, and I saw the way he did it. It was so professional and so thorough. And he doesn't work with everybody like you. Like, it's got to, because it's just, in the day, it's your image. Yeah. And I don't think people always understand that. So if you ever had to turn somebody down?
Yeah, I do often. The reason why, because I think the biggest reason why I do and will continue is because sometimes I struggle with, I want people that want me. I want people to attract that want to be here. Like, I don't want to get in the business of convincing you that this is what you need, because this is your business, not mine. I have my business and I'm good, respectfully. But if you want to be here, you need to be prepared to be challenged. You need to be prepared to go through the work that it takes to build your brand to next level, because you see what others are doing and you want for yourself, but you're not willing to put in the work, right? So the reason I say that also is to that when educating also is key for me with the clients that I vet and work with. I have to educate them on the value of on why the prices are the way they are. Because when you work with me, when I post, the exposure it brings because of the brand that we've built. But then also clarifying your message. Like, we do intensive strategy. We do breakdown branding and the colors and the typography, the different languages that text fonts have communicate, colors communicate. All of that stuff is strategically broke down into as why we choose what we choose to go for your brand, all the way down to like I said, your font, your color, your image, and everything, your messaging. So if it doesn't align with our core values, I'm not doing no reaching. Like, if you don't want to be here, or if you're not ready to work and you're not ready to do, then I mean, that's just what it is, and that's just on that.
So how do you deal with folks who? Because I think I'm trying to say this nicely. How do you deal with folks who don't want to pay the price?
I don't. I don't.
Okay.
Either you want to be here or you don't. Either you like, I don't. That's that, man. Listen, either you gonna work or you want this work, or you don't. And if you don't, that's cool. But I don't work with anybody though.
No, I love that, man. Because yeah, I love that. Because
You got to be selfish too, because you have to protect. These are boundaries. This is what I'm saying is boundaries. Yes, your work is great. Yes, I can work with people. Yes, I can do what you need me to do, but you have to have boundaries, because if you don't, you'll burn yourself out. Like, just working with each and every client at the time, 2 and 3 and 4. Ideally, I want to be able to, my real goal is to have like an agency where I could oversee graphic designers and begin to bring up young graphic designers and young creatives. And then also another to that would be to just work with maybe like one client like a month, or one or two, like on salary, ideally. Like, if I was to have like a $10,000 client or something, just work with and strategically, work with their full brand or however that look. Because the reason I say that, because I see a lot of my influencers, the people that I look up to, don't look like us. And so in those rooms in like LA, New York, working for Ralph Lauren and working for those big corporations that graphic designers, I mean, you have to have them. Their branding agencies are making, sometimes 5,000 and 6,000 a project per hour. These kind of things. I could show you numbers where they're making $1 and $2,000, $3,000 an hour. Of course they have a team, but ideally I want to be making to where I can work with one client or one or two or three clients and make that critical impact in than just working with multiple, clients, if that makes sense.
no, actually it does. And I think that other business owners may be thinking, well, I want to hire Tyree Mccall's, services, but this is too much. I need something cheaper. And I've always seemingly, it seems like the people who want it cheaper tend to be more work.
It depends. Now, to that point, I will say there are instances where I have, and it's funny because now I'm into purpose, where there are people that come to me that I know that need, and like, God, like, bro, you got to serve at this point. Like, I wouldn't, like, I don't know. And I'm talking in present tense now, because even just hearing myself say this, there are some people that I literally have no choice but to serve. And that looks like, I want you to give them my highest package today and push their vision and put me out front, and then don't worry about it. And the fear of that sometimes frightens me so much, but I trust God and trust the faith in that so much sometimes. This is not everybody, and this is not often, but there are, like I say, some instances where people come and they need services and I can feel their energy, and I feel there will be opportunity where we say, okay, bet, this is something that we have to do. But most times it's business. But I like to have a conversation and see if this person fits or not.
Well, I think that's still business because, like, whenever you're led to do something like that, it always comes back. Because I mean, it's still your work. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
if you're not, if you're not charging for it or you're reducing the price
Yeah.
because you see this person, you being called to help this person, it still can come back to you.
Yeah,
Right? It still
absolutely.
can come back to you.
Like content and creating is evergreen. It will never go. Like you can create. I can post something I have made 2 years ago. You would never think that it was new. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I can create a flyer today and it can last forever. It's evergreen.
And I think people need to be thinking on that level because we got some work done and it was pretty pricey. But when Kyle created it for us, I was just saying I was telling Michael, I said, yeah, this is expensive, but we're gonna keep using this.
Absolutely.
We can chop this up different ways.
Absolutely.
Like this looks, no matter how old this gets, it's always gonna be. It's always gonna look fresh and new.
Y'all got content for days, but the people y'all work with, and man, y'all got content. You probably won't ever have to do another podcast. I mean, you can break these reels down and stuff. So y'all doing great. I definitely admire what you all are doing.
No, I appreciate you, man. No, I'm just speaking to what you just said about a lot of this stuff can be timeless, man. And so I'm saying that because if someone's thinking about hiring you, they need to understand it's not it may seem like a one-time thing, but it's not. You can just keep using that over and over and over again. So when you look at what you charge to do work for somebody, if they think about it, like you're going to be using this more than once. You're going to use this over and over.
I mean, we build a relationship. So I see as we creating, as you posting and things like that, I always go above and beyond for my clients. That's one thing. So if they do believe in me and they pay full price, I'm always going to say, hey, I recommend, or this is what you should do, or I might throw them a little something like, look, add this, or because I'm still growing myself. So like some of my clients are prototypes, or some of my clients I use to, showcase new services because I'm still learning. As I'm learning, I need a client that, I've worked with in the past. I need to, let's try something new. Let me use your face and your brand to create this new service, and so that works often too. So,
and do you like social media? You do anything with that? Like if someone has a brand and they want you to manage their social media, would you do
I don't. However, I do want to house that space where it could be a one-stop shop when you come here. But I strictly cater to people that don't have like a logo or a brand presence at all, or if they do, they want a polished brand presence, and I usually reverse engineer from what the people that are successful are doing, in corporate or things like that, and I make it fit what we do. Because working with a lot of creatives in our community don't look like that, but oftentimes I say, and I'll say this, with branding, think of Macy's. They sell everything. Or I'll say this, think of Home Depot. They sell hammer, nails, you name it. They sell paint, everything, but they don't have all of that in their logo. You know what I'm saying? And so same with, like I said, Macy's. They sell cologne, everything, but they don't put all of that in their logo. So for me, my brand and what makes me unique is less is more. I try to go with a more unique, less modern, straight to the point, and then I allow you as your brand to speak for your logo and your branding, if that makes sense.
Is that hard when you're dealing with certain clientele to help them understand less is more? Because most of us think more is more.
Yes.
And it's not. I 100% agree with you. Less is more, but they don't. But some people don't see it that way.
I want lipstick in my logo. I want glitter. I want a pig and the house and the little thing that you blow it down with, all that kind of stuff. Man, I'd be like, look, either you gonna stay or go, because this ain't that and that ain't this.
Because it makes sense. Because if you do too much, this is still my work.
Just trust the process. I'm telling you, I've been through experience to know what works and what doesn't. Like, you don't want that on no billboard, or you don't even want that on no sign. No, you know what I'm saying? Nobody gonna take you serious.
Yeah, you don't even want it on a business card, probably.
All.
Like, you're doing too much.
Way too much. Yeah, no. But and delivering that message is not easy all the time, because people, I just need something quick. Nah. You might as well go on. And that's understandable, and I get it, because it gets budget friendly. It's a lot with it. It's a lot, but I'm always educating myself, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this, man. So I think this is a weird thing, a weird space that people find themselves in, because you have a great, career, not just a job, because you work for teams, so you can be on different contracts in different places, but like you have that and it pays you exceptionally well. But then there's also this struggle with purpose, because your business, man, that's your baby. That's what you're passionate about. So how do you deal if someone's watching this? Like, how do they deal with, fighting between their career, which pays the bills, and then in this case, you've gotten to a point where you've taken the career money and turned it into, on the business side, and funded a lot of things. And so now that's actually profitable too. So like, at what point, or if ever, do you transition all the way over?
That's funny. That's good you asked. I think it's balance. You have to carry it with grace. And like I say, everything I do is intentional. So when I say that, I mean that if I hear the call for me to go to work and I need to go make a few extra coins, I gotta go. And that means that I don't most of the time accept projects unless it's a returning client or maybe someone that, I think might need something quick or in and out. But when I'm on the road like now, sometimes I don't accept clients. But when I'm off the road and I work in business, I just, I'm head down. But to answer your question or to speak to your statement, I would say I'm faith-based, man. Everything I do is with faith. I don't make no decision on my own. When literally God tell me, give me instruction, I listen. I submit to his leadership. Whatever he says to me, I just have to do. It don't always feel good, and it's not easy. Right now, it's not. But yeah. I would say too, man, make your money work for you. Make the career work for you. I love my my iron worker brothers, my union and where I represent, and I appreciate them, and I use that. Like I said, I leverage that. I think for that I can have freedom, and also be able to do what I enjoy doing. Like they have hobbies that they do when they're not working. Everyone has hobbies, and this is so happened to be a hobby that turned into a passion, that turned into something that I can make money from. So I think that you need to have balance. And to the person that thinks that they can't do it, I'm just saying this: if you believe that God is calling you to a purpose, or you're being led to step out on faith, you have to do it. Like fighting against it is probably going to be worse than staying and trying to figure it out. Because while you're trying to figure it out, I didn't come to preach today. You know what I'm saying? Because we try to figure too many things out and just do it like Nike. You know what I'm saying? And you might not see the end. You might not see. And I've been in business probably 4 or 5 years, and I'm literally, this is my very first podcast. Like, this is my very first now where I'm really starting to see the fruits of my labor starting to pay off from 2020. Like I'm literally just now, and this has been daily grinding.
I love that. You say you may not see it all right away.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to see the step in front of
Come
you.
on.
Take that one step.
Come on.
Then see the next step.
I'm taking you on the road with me. We're going to be motivated. Look, you coming. When I call you, be ready. Have your bags packed. I'm sending the black truck, too. They coming to pick you up. Truck? Yeah, for both of y'all. Look, I'm sending the black truck, and y'all coming, and we're gonna do a panel.
Yes, sir. Hey, I'm
you got it, man. You really do. You got it. I'm happy for what's next for both of us, man.
Yeah. No, I received that, man, because I think that's the thing about life. I mean, we all have a spirit of gratitude for where we are, of course, but we're always pushing ourselves to while we're in that spirit of gratitude and gratefulness for everything that God has given us. Like, God, what's next?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the next thing that you have for me? And I'm looking for you to tell me, because I don't. Yeah. God knows I've tried to do it on my own. It didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? On multiple occasions. I'm just saying.
It's anxiety creep in, different things the enemy try to speak to you and tell you and creep in. Yeah, but that's why my pastor always says, shout out to Pastor Hannah, he talks about keeping your sound. You got to keep your mouth open, and you also got to keep your feet moving. Like if you are moving, the enemy can't hit a moving target. Like you have to keep moving. You have no choice. So in that regards, man, just trust the process. Trust the journey. It's an evolution. Every day isn't gonna be peaches and cream, man. If it's not peaches and cream, then go buy you some peaches and cream. And those days that you don't feel great, don't beat up on yourself, man. Be gentle with yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? And we, like I said, we work hard, and we, head down, just want to stay focused, grind, get it. But man, some days it doesn't look like that professional headshot that you see on my profile picture every day. It doesn't.
Listen, I can't tell. When you came in here, that's the same guy from the profile.
Man, listen, man. If people knew, man, nah, for real, bro. If people knew what it took and knows what we go through as creatives and people that show up on social media platforms, in the responsibility that we have to, not just showing up. I'm talking about showing up with character, with integrity. They would understand why sometimes we don't want this. I don't ask for this, man. I don't raise my hand to come to platforms, so I just go where I'm being led.
Yeah.
When you talk about how to balance between purpose and career, or stepping out into the two, that is how I would speak to that. That's it. That's it.
Yeah, because I think there's some people that are, they have something. Because I always say your purpose is that in which you do that requires the least amount of effort, and people don't. There's something in everybody. Like, you have a job and you make great money, not you per se. I mean, it's someone else. And congratulations, but that's not your purpose. You might be the best cook. You might make the best chicken and cakes and all this other stuff. That's probably your purpose, because you do that easy.
And go ahead.
You're fine.
I think to add to your point, I think that's what makes me unique in how my business is set up, because I see a lot of people that's burnt out, because I was that same person. I was burnt out from a job that didn't care how much money you paid me. I don't want that. I want the freedom. I want the peace. So I see a lot of people around me, and that's what we were taught, raised in the country. Go to work and retire 20 30 years and get you a good.
And not to cut you off, but I want to make sure we clear this up. That's not a country thing.
Okay.
Everyone is raising, we're all being raised to go out here and make the most money.
Correct.
Right. They don't even talk to us about purpose and none of that. And which is why, you go to places like Atlanta, everybody wants to be flashy, the biggest house, the fanciest car, and all this kind of crap. And none of them are probably happy.
Yeah.
Because we're not raised to think about happiness and purpose and none of that. We just raised to focus on material things.
We didn't have the voice to speak against it when we were growing up.
But we didn't even know that. But we didn't know to speak against it.
Exactly. You would get your teeth knocked out your mouth if you brought up, I don't want to do this. You know what I'm saying? You had to do. So,
ooh, I like that.
Like, now that we have the freedom, and social media have given people to use their voice, I think that's something that I say is important. If you feel that you are working a job that you don't enjoy, or you think you have a hobby that can turn you into something, you need to speak with somebody, or go ahead and pursue. And that's what happens a lot of times with my businesses. And I say I rebrand or transformation. A lot of people are leaving their jobs, or they want to start a new realty company or anything because of where they were, and they now want that freedom to start. And so that is why people gravitate to me, and that is my essentially ministry and purpose, the reason why I do what I do, and why I don't accept who I don't accept.
No, I love that, man. But even that, people need to understand that own, or that have businesses, the power to only work with certain people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I got this thing where I say I only want to work with the best people. Right.
Straight up.
So I only want to work with the best people. But I think that when you don't put you talked about something earlier too about delayed gratification. People get in their business and have and put themselves in certain situations, and then they have to take whatever someone gives them because now they're financially scrapped. I saw you pull up and I didn't see a Bentley. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you do exceptionally well. I didn't see a fancy car or nothing like that. And I was just, well, so you've mastered delayed gratification. Shout out to you for that. Man. So speak to that.
Yeah, I used to, man, because the image and the material sometimes don't match, and I had to free myself from that. And even also with my age, I used to think that because I'm 31 today that I should be farther ahead. So I've had to learn to have grace, but also that comes with inner work. This is a consistent evolution of inner healing, inner work. Like, you have to do the work. Every day is new challenges, but there's also new grace, So I try to harness having grace with myself and understanding, man, I'm going to get there. You going to see me now. I might, when it's time. But right now, I'm just enjoying the journey, man. I want to be able to look back and say, man, I remember when I was driving around in my beat up, my hood. I had that thing bright too, but hey, when it's time, you going to know. You know, I ain't looking for the claps right now. I mean,
but here's the thing though, man. Like claps are overrated. You know, because some of y'all are clapping for people that are they're not even doing what you think they're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I had this thing when people tell me how much money they make, I always say, "What is your net worth?"
Yep. I hear you talk about that a lot.
What is your net worth?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. So I mean, this cricket kept going.
Nah, that's real.
It's just one of these things. Like, you know, like people talk about. I make money. A lot of people making money. Making money and having money is not the same thing. And you know, so people don't understand money management. And I think that you're doing a phenomenal job as a, you know, because you know, with you making six figures and a great career, and you have a great business. I mean, first thing people would want to do is go out here and show. Because here's the thing. Sometimes people won't do business with you if they don't see the money.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing. Sometimes you have to show money to attract more business.
Yeah. That's real.
I gotta go into debt just so you will do business with me. I gotta have all this stuff, and I think a lot of people get caught up in that, especially in the bigger cities. And a lot of them are broke, but they're showing off. Hey, look, I got all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so that's the thing.
Yeah, these facades, they create images, and social media have taught us and trained people to do it very well. And so we get into comparison sometimes, and comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison will come, although we do look to people for inspiration. Sometimes we get caught up in comparison and like, dang, I should be here, or I should be there, or I'm not here, or I'm there, and that can really take your joy.
But here's the thing, though. Also, Tyree, like you could be comparing yourself to something that ain't even real.
It's not even real.
It's not even real,
bro. That's the reason I said I was bad at that. I was him. I used to look at people like, man, and then meet them in person, man. They burn out, how they say, man. But like, some people I grew up with, or however, whatever, growing up, they had it all. And like I'm at an opposite side of my life to where when people came out of high school and going through high school at 19 and 20 and 21, like growing through that 20s, they was flashy and this and that. I had to work and I didn't have that lifestyle. But now in going into my 30s and growing and evolving, whereas they had then, they've lost today. And to where I am today, I'm actually in the upward mobility phase. So like I take that with a responsibility there, and now this is my opportunity to inspire, because they have got to the place where they think they've lost hope, and age will make you feel like, God, I'm 30, I'm 31, I'm 35, and I should be further. But no, I'm testimony, bro. Like it's not over. Like you still got purpose.
Yeah, man, you just getting started.
Yeah, man, you really
you good.
You good. Every day I think like that, but you good.
Yeah,
you good.
Continue to get around good people, man. Good people will always give you good energy, man. They'll tell you, man, you in good shape, man, Tyree, man.
But you have, and I'm gonna say this: you have to be careful who you hear and receive you're good from, because some people that don't have nothing, you can just relax, you good, and you be in the same place that you was when the same people telling you, you good, they've been in the same place for the last 10 years. So you got to be careful who you receive be good and you cool and you know what I'm saying, take a break, because some people can tell you that on your demise and want to see you not have nothing because they don't have nothing.
Well, they don't want to see you better than them.
See what I'm saying?
Come on now.
Misery love company.
Yeah. Or an average loves company.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, you sound like Grant Cardone.
Just saying.
You talk about average all the time, but yeah, no, I'm not on one. Don't treat me like a small burger. I'm a big man.
You brought up Grant Cardone. One of my favorite books I read this years ago. It was "Be Obsessed or Be Average" by Grant Cardone.
I love him.
And one thing, average people love to keep everyone around them average.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's just. And listen, I've been an average person, so I get it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't try to keep anybody else down, but I've been an average person with average thoughts. And I think that's what makes people average, the way they think, man. But either way, Tyree, man, listen, I enjoy chopping it up with you, bro. Like, tell people where they can find you, man.
I'm Tyree Mccall on Facebook, Tyree Mccall on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn at Tyree Mccall. You can find me on TikTok. I'm trying to get a little involved in TikTok.
Okay.
You can find me. I'm not as on X, but yeah, everything Tyree Mccall. You should be able to find me. And if you're on Facebook or Instagram, I have a link in my bio, so you can reach out. Feel free.
Yeah. You got any parting words?
Like I said, just grateful to be here. Excited about what's next. I'm excited for the people around me that receive me, and excited for really what's next for you all. And yeah, thank you for having me, man. I don't take it lightly.
Listen, man, you the first guy to come on here to really speak all this greatness over us, man. I love this.
Man, you receive it, man. Receive it. If I had flowers, I would literally give them to y'all.
Oh,
but yeah,
listen, I appreciate it, man.
You guys, you're amazing. Thank you, Doctor. I call you Doc, man.
You call me Doc?
Yeah, Dr. Don, man. You fly, man.
That, man.
Make sure you know that.
I received that.
Don't
man.
let nobody take that away from you, man.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
wish I could fit some of your clothes, man. But yeah, you got it. I'm telling you, you got it, man. So, all love my way, bro.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. Receive it. Listen, this is going to conclude the episode of Free Game Don D. Life, family, and business.